Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So yesterday we were looking at the PWA installation. So we started with the prerequisites. So the prerequisites are IAS rules to be installed, that is Internet Information Services. Since PWA is a web server, we need to have IAS rules and features on that particular server. So we have already executed the prerequisite script, that is PWA prerequisite script, which was provided by CyberArk, and we have encountered an error related to the .NET framework, since the .NET is not installed on that particular server Windows operating system. So yesterday we have installed the .NET framework, Microsoft .NET framework on that machine, and now we'll rerun the script, prerequisite script, and then we'll install the PWA on that particular server. Okay, let me share my screen. Can you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, right. Let me log into PWA server. And remember, always your vault server should be up and running. Okay, your vault server should be always up and running, because these components will communicate to the vault server during the installation, and after installation your vault should be always up and running from here onwards. Okay, log into PWA server. Go to the softwares where we have copied our PWA. Let me install the C++ packages as well. Now go to PWA software. Inside PWA, we have installation automation. So here we can see the PWA prerequisites script. Okay. Now open the PowerShell from this location as an administrator and run the command, run the PowerShell script /PWA prerequisites .pson. This is the PowerShell script. Enter. Let's wait for a while. So again, so yesterday some of the features were already installed. So now it will just verify those IS features got installed or not. and at last we have to get a message the value is 0, so that we can say that script is executed successfully. Okay, so it is verifying OS version, verifying .NET framework, skipping all the features because yesterday these features got installed already, web features as roles. SSL certificate, PWA config self certificate it is creating with the host name. Okay, yeah. So PWA prerequisite script executed, ended, and see here execution is succeeded value is 0. Okay, succeeded value is 0 means the script got executed successfully. Yesterday we got it as 1 because .NET framework is not installed on this machine. Right. So now we have installed all the required prerequisites, that is IAS roles we have installed, Internet Information Services. So we need to check one thing here after installing the IAS prerequisites. Go to Server Manager. This is Server Manager dashboard. So in Tools, we have IAS Manager, Internet Information Services. So here, if we expand the host name under sites, default website, so right side you can see the bindings. Okay, if you go to the bindings, so here you can able to see HTTPS 443 is the default port. Okay, for any website HTTPS connections, 443 is the default protocol. 443 is the port number. So if we just edit this, so here you can see self-signed certificate. So this is the computer name. This is the host name. So if I go to my computer properties, so see here, this is the host name of this PWA server. So with this host name, when we executed that PWA prerequisite script, it has created an SSL certificate and it has binded that SSL certificate with HTTPS. Okay. So after installing those prerequisites, just come here and check whether SSL certificate is associated, binded or not with the HTTPS protocol. Right. So I'm just canceling this. I'm not doing anything. I just came here to see whether SSL certificate is configured or not. Okay. So now let's start the PWA installation. Go to softwares. So this is our setup file. Okay. Run as administrator. Password Vault Web Access requires the following items to be installed on your computer. Click Install to begin the installation. Pending bin 2015. Okay, click Install. The installation appears to have failed. Do you want to continue the installation? Win 2015-22. Okay. Yeah, see here. So when we run the software .exe file of PWA, we got the first page as welcome to installation wizard for password vault web access 13.2.4 version. This will install PWA on this computer. To continue, click next. Okay, next. This is the license agreement, product license agreement. Just accept the terms and conditions. Click on yes. So now enter information, customer information. Please enter your name and name of the company for which you work. So you can specify any name here and any company name, whatever you want. So I'm going with some XYZ. Next, next, CyberArk web application destination. Select the folder where setup will install files for the web application. So for this web application, where we need to install, this is the destination location. So by default, it is taking it as C initpub www root password vault. Okay, in C drive, it will create initpub folder. Inside initpub folder, this password vault web application is going to be installed. Can someone tell me, were you able to recollect where our vault server got installed? What is the path? Any one of you? Where our vault server got installed? Destination location. So when we install the vault, we have specified the destination location. What is that path? Where the vault server got installed? On the C drive. Did you remember? Any one of you? Any guess? Any guess or where vault server got installed? Let me show you. That is C program files private arc server. C program files private arc server. See here I am on vault server now. C program files 86 private arc server. This is where our vault server got installed. Okay, so similarly for PWA, this is the path. You just need to remember this path because the configuration files and log files will be stored under these locations. So keep the path as it is. Click on next. Next, configuration files destination. Okay, so configuration files will be stored in this location, that is C drive, CyberArk, password vault web access. Okay, no need to change the path. Click on next. Right, setup type. Select the setup type that suits your needs. So here there are two options. Install full password vault web access. Install mobile password vault web access. Mobile password vault web access means we can also open this URL, this PWA interface in our mobile. Okay, in some specific projects. Okay, in some specific projects, they will allow to install this mobile password vault web access. Means they will grant access to the CyberArk admins to access the password vault web access from their mobiles. So that is mobile password vault web access. Okay, so here I am not going to install mobile password vault web access. So I'm just selecting a full password vault web access. Okay, click on next. Yeah, see here. So now web application details. Please enter the website name, application name, and authentication types. This is application name, authentication type. We have to select now. Site name is default. Okay, if I drop down, there is nothing. Default website. Always site name is default website. Now application name is password vault. Application name is that is default password vault. Authentication types. So here there are different authentication types that it supports: CyberArk, Cognito, PKI. If I scroll down, LDAP authentication, PKI, Radius, Windows, SAML, etc. So here we need to choose whatever the authentication methods that we want to enable. So here I'm going with CyberArk authentication and also with LDAP. Okay, I have selected both the authentication methods. Next, default authentication. Okay, so default is Windows. So if I drop down again, what are all the authentication methods that we can enable? We can see here. So in the authentication type, we have selected CyberArk and LDAP. So default should be either CyberArk or LDAP in our case. So I'll go with CyberArk authentication. Default mobile authentication, it is graded out because we are not going to install the mobile password vault access, so that's why it's got graded out. So in this tab, web application details, we just need to select the authentication types, whatever we want to enable, and the default authentication we need to select. Okay, so default authentication is, earlier it is Windows. So since I have not enabled Windows here, I'm going to choose it as CyberArk as a default authentication. Okay, so now click on next. This will take some time. Okay, so now we got one more step: vault server and PVWA connection details. So it is asking us the vault address, vault port, that is CyberArk proprietary protocol 1858, and PVWA URL. Okay, so this is the PVWA URL automatically detected. In cases where load balancer is relevant, replace the address with URL of the PVWA load balancer. What does it mean? Any one of you, can you please tell me what is this statement? In cases where a load balancer is relevant, replace the address with URL of the PWS load balancer. What is load balancer? Any one of you? Any guess?
So it helps to direct the incoming traffic into these servers. So the management of requests, I would say.
Yes, Ravindra, you are absolutely correct. So load balancing means in order to divert the traffic. Okay. So actually in live projects in organizations, they will go with multiple PWS servers. Okay. So multiple PWS servers they will install and they will uh, configure those PWS. Let us say if an organization wants to go with the 3 or 4 PWS, they will install all the 4 PWS servers individually, and all these 4 PWS servers will be configured in the load balancing means whenever the user will try to log into this particular PWA interface, so it will divert the traffic to all the 4 PWA servers which is configured under load balancing. So that is called load balancing. Okay, so here we are installing one PWA in our lab. So in organizations, they will go with multiple PWAs definitely in order to divert this traffic. So if we are using load balancing, okay, then here we need to go with load balanced URL. Okay, so they will configure one VIP virtual IP for that load balancing, and we need to specify that virtual IP URL here for accessing the PWA. So here vault address. So what is the vault address here in our case? What I have to give here, any one of you?
That was previously.
What is the address?
10.0.0.2.
10.0.0.2. Yes, you are correct. Okay, so yesterday someone asked about the communication. So see here, this is the step. So in this step, our PWA is going to connect to the vault server with 1858 protocol. Okay, so all our components will talk to our vault server with 1858. If you install any component, you will get this step. At some point of time, you have to specify the vault server address and vault port number 1858. Okay. Yeah. So during this time, make sure your vault server is up and running. Okay. Your vault server should be up and running. Means the private server should be up and running. So successfully connected to database and vault is up and running. Right. So now go ahead and copy this URL. So this is the PWA URL for accessing web interface. Let me put it in Notepad. Okay. So I'm not going to change anything. Just I have specified the vault server address. Click on next. Next, vault server username and password details. Please enter the username and password in the vault server. The user must have administrator permissions and it will be used to update the vault environment required for the application in the server. So username is administrator. What is this account called? Any one of you? What is this administrator account? What is this administrator account? See here, the user must have administrator permissions and it will be used to update the environment required for the application in the server.
Admin.
Which admin it is?
SP admin.
Sorry?
SP admin.
SP admin.
Hmm.
No, where we have seen this account. Why we are using administrator account here? Why we are using administrator account here? What is this account called? So during our Vault installation, we have seen that two built-in accounts got created, a master account and administrator account. Administrator account is used for daily operations to perform on the Vault server. So this is the administrator account that is being used by the Vault administrator to perform the operations. Okay, so that this account is called as a Vault administrator account. So now specify the Vault administrator password. Okay, so then click on next. Checking connection to the server means it is checking connection to the Vault server. Now it is updating the Vault server environment. In the backend, what it will do is it will connect to the Vault server and it will create some saves and it will store some configuration files inside those saves related to PWA. Updating server environment. That is Vault server environment. Setting folder permissions. Okay, installation wizard complete. Setup has finished installing the password alt web access 13.2 version on our computer. Okay, so click on finish. It got installed. Okay, PWA installation is done. Let's wait for a while. Okay, so can any one of you tell me what are the steps that were involved during this installation? What are the highlight summary points that we can uh, that we have seen during this PWA installation? Any one of you? What are the major steps in the PWA installation? Yes, please. Just now we have installed PWA. So what are the steps involved during the installation? Any one of you? Yes, please. What are the steps we have seen now? Just now we have installed the PWA, right? What we have selected and what are the screens that we have seen during the installation? We have run the setup file, PWA setup file. Okay. So after running the setup file, first we got the installation wizard. Okay. Welcome to PWA so and so version. Click next. Okay. Next license product agreement, that is common. And the next step is enter user information. That is the person who is using who is installing this product, his company name. Okay. And then destination location, where to install this PWA. Destination location, what we have selected. So by default it is CNetPub www root password vault. That's where PWA got installed. Next, web application destination configuration destination location, that is C CyberArk PWA. C CyberArk password vault web access. So we have given both. We have chosen both destination location and configuration files. After that, it asked for application details. Okay, application name is password vault and we have to select the authentication types. So we have chosen CyberArk and LDAP authentication, and then default authentication we have selected as CyberArk. Okay, so that is the main step. And then it asks for whether to install full password vault web access or mobile password vault web access. Okay, so we have selected full password vault web access, and then it asks for vault connection details. So we have to specify the vault server address, vault port number 1858 default, and there itself you can see the PWA URL for connecting to the PWA web interface. So if we are using multiple PWAs and they are configured in load balancing, we have to specify the load balanced URL there. Okay, that's it. Okay, and then we have to specify the vault administrator account and vault administrator password. We have specified, we have given the password, and then the PWA got installed. Okay, so now let us try to hit the URL. Let us try to open the PWA web interface. Okay, so here we have Internet Explorer. Let me install the Chrome on this PWA. Okay, Chrome is not there here. Let me download the Chrome. Just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Okay, this is the Chrome setup file that I have downloaded. Let me install this Chrome browser on our PWA server. Seems it is connecting to internet. Okay, let me. So we don't have internet access on this machine. Let me change the IP. Okay, Chrome got installed. Let me set back this IP. It's not responding. Let's wait for. Okay, done. Okay, so I have set back the IPs. Now try to open the PWA interface. Better we'll take a reboot of this machine. And rebooting the machine after installing the PWA. Okay, login. So after installing PWA, it did not ask us for a reboot, but always better to take a reboot after installing any component in Cyberark. But for Vault, after installing Vault, it specifically asks us to take a reboot, and we have taken the reboot. Okay, so now open this URL, open the Chrome. It's not necessary that only from PWA server we need to open this Chrome browser. Okay. In organizations, they will access the Google Chrome browser and they can hit the PWA URL so that they can able to log into their PWA. Enter. Let's wait for a while. The first time it will take time to load. Okay, we got some error in the password application. Unhandled exception occurred. Let me do IS reset once. So IS reset is the command for restarting the services, that is Internet Information Services. I'm just restarting the web server services. We'll see. Okay, HTTP response, Microsoft.NET version 4 version information. HTTP object reference not set to an instance. Still it's not loading. Let us try with IP. http://10.0.0.3 slash password vault. Set can't be reached. Why not 3 error? Object reference not set to an instance. Let me check whether all rules are installed properly or not. Okay, installation succeeded. I just installed .NET 3.5 version as well. Let's see. Access is denied. Interesting. Win 98 VNDH. 98 VNDH. Okay, the host name looks good. cyber.cyberark.com DHC2. DHC2.cyberark.com. Okay, right. So, see here, this is the PWA URL. Okay, so we logged into the, we got the PWA interface. This is how the new interface looks. So let me log in. So see here, we have an option called change authentication method. If you go to change authentication method, please choose your sign in authentication method. This is CyberArk authentication method. This is LDAP authentication method. So we were able to see these two authentication methods because we have selected these authentications during the PWA installation. If you remember, just now we have installed PWA. During the installation, we have selected the authentication types as CyberArk and LDAP and the default authentication as CyberArk. So that's why we were able to see this authentication. So during that time, if you select other authentication methods or PKI or SAML or Radius, so here you can able to see those authentication methods as well. Okay, but anyway, later we need to integrate those authentication methods, whatever we want to integrate with CyberArk, whether it is SAML, Radius, or whatever maybe. So for now, we have enabled these two. So let me log in with CyberArk authentication. Username is administrator, vault administrator, sign in. Okay. So we logged into the PWA console, PWA web interface. Okay. So after logging in, we can see accounts view. In accounts view, right now it is 0 accounts. So there is no username, address, platform ID, safe request. So here it is showing us blank. So later in our operations, after completing the implementation phase, we will onboard some privileged accounts and we will perform some operations on those privileged accounts. Okay. So for now, just remember, so once you install PWA, we have to use the PWA web interface in order to do the configuration. So we successfully logged into the PWA, and here you can see PWA account information, which account is used for logging in. Here I used administrator, last sign in date, last source IP, failed sign in attempts, time of last logged in, etc. Okay, so user information we can see here, and the left side you can see These are the different tabs that are available. System health, accounts tab. In accounts, we will have accounts feed. This is related to accounts discovery, and account request we can see here, and policies tab. In policies, we will configure the master policy. Last time we discussed check-in, check-out policy is one of the policy, and we have other policies as well. So if we want to configure policies, we will define it here. And applications tab, reports tab, we can generate different types of reports in CyberArk. We'll see later what are those reports. And user provisioning. So here we can integrate LDAP integration with CyberArk. We just enabled LDAP authentication method, but we have not integrated AD with CyberArk. So later we will also look at that, how we will integrate LDAP with CyberArk. And we have one more option called, one more tab called administration tab. This is very, very important. All the configurations will be whatever we are going to configure will be doing in the administration tab related to the platforms and platform configurations. So you need to remember these names. What are the tabs available after logging into PWA as a Vault administrator account? Okay, that is system health, accounts tab, policies tab, applications, reports, user provisioning, and final one is administration tab. Okay, right. So we logged into PWA. I just want to show you some other things here. So PWA install log. So this will be there in, just search with PWA install. We'll see what are the services, what are the log files, what are the configuration files related to this PWA. So for Vault, we have, after installing Vault, we have some services that got created on the Vault server. Okay, what are those services? Any one of you? What are the services of Vault server? Any one of you? Yes, please. Yesterday also we discussed what are the services of digital Vault server. When I am giving some questions, someone already answered the
Private Arc database, Private Arc server, CyberArk logic container.
yes, yes. So Private server service, Private database service, CyberArk event notification engine service, CyberArk logic container service, CyberArk Windows hardened firewall service, and Private remote control agent service. Okay. So similarly for PWA, since it's a web server, the services are, let me open the services on the PWA. So since it's a web server, we have installed IAS roles. We call it as IAS admin service. Okay. IIS admin service, internet information service, admin service. This is the main service of a web server, of any web server, not only PWA. Okay. So IIS admin service, and we have other two services called Windows process activation service. This one, Windows process activation service, it is running, and one more service called World Wide Web Publication Service. This one, World Wide Web Publication Service. Okay, so these are the services of PWA. I repeat again: IAS admin service, Windows process activation service, and Worldwide Web Publishing Service. These are the three services related to the web server, PWA web server. Next, what is the log file of Vault server? Anyone of you? What is the name of the log file for vault server?
ITA log.
ITA log. So what is the name of the log file of PVWA? So PVWA logs are, let me just, so see here, this is one of the log file PVWA install log. So PVWA install log will be there in the temp folder. Okay, in the local temp folder. So if I open, we can see the installation steps that we did. Okay, so if we get any errors, we can find out those errors in the PVWA install log. Okay, this is the installer log. So see here, you can see the message application pool started successfully, means our PVWA got installed successfully. Okay, application pool started means our PVWA got started successfully. Okay, so if you want to after installation, you need to review this log file and make sure any errors are there in this install log. Name of the file is pwwa install. Okay, and the actual log files of pwwa are C, the application got installed, services, logs. Yeah, so these are the log files. Cyberark web console log. Web console log is the main log file of pwwa. Web console log. Okay, so for Vault it is ITL log. For pwwa it is a web console log, which will be there in the installation directory, that is C CyberArk PVWA. Under services, we can see the logs. Okay, web console log is the main log file of PVWA. Next, what is the configuration file of Vault server? What is the configuration file of Vault server? Any one of you? What is the name of the configuration?
dbpalm.ini.
dbpalm.ini. Very good. So for PVWA, the configuration file name is web.config. Name of the file is web.config. So it will be there in C, netpub, www, password vault. See here, web.config file. This is the configuration file of PVWA. You need to remember these names. Okay, very, very important, because the persons who are working on the CyberArk will always go and check these services, will always go to the log files of that respective component if you come across any issues, or you will always do some configurations in these configuration files related to that particular components. Okay, so always you need to remember these names. Web.config file is the configuration file of PVWA, and CyberArk Web Console is the log file of PVWA, and PVWA install is the log file related to the PVWA installer, PVWA installation. Right. So next, we'll see some saves. What are the default saves that are created after Vault installation? Any one of you? What are the default saves that got created after Vault installation? Any one of you? Yesterday also we discussed. What are the default saves? There will be three saves that got created. What are those? Any guess? Any one of you?
Notification
That
system
system
and
shape,
bot.
notification engine shape, and Vault's internal shape.
Very good. System safe, notification engine safe, and Vault internal safe. So similarly, so after installing PVWA, there will be some safes that got created. Let us see what are those safes. So I'm logging on to the Privatar client. So this Privatar client can be installed anywhere. Okay. So in tomorrow's session, I'll install Privatar client here as well. So for now, I'm just logging from here, Privatar client. Administrator. see here, we got some message called gateway session user administrator was disconnected. Gateway session user administrator was disconnected. Means I already logged into PWA here. Okay, previously I logged into PWA, this one with Vault Administrator. So this session got disconnected. Means at a time you cannot use your Vault Administrator account to log into PWA and to log into the Privatar client. Okay, so if you are logging to the Privatar client, it will disconnect your PWA session. Okay, just click on OK. So see here, yesterday we have three safes, that is notification engine safe, system safe, vault internal safe. But now today we have 11 objects, 11 safes. So yesterday it was 3, so now it was 11. So total 8 safes got created. Let me change the view, right click and make it to list. Yeah, okay, we can change the view here. So these are the safes that got created, that is PWA config safe, PWA private user prefs, PWA public data, PWA reports, PWA task definitions, PWA ticketing system, PWA user prefs, and shared auth internal. So these are the safes that got created after PWA installation. You don't need to remember all these safe names. Okay, only the important ones we need to remember. Okay, so out of these, PWA config safe is the main one. Okay, so PWA config safe, it contains PWA configuration.xml file. So it contains PWA config, as the name itself indicates, PWA config. Config means configuration. So it contains the configurations related to PWA, which we call it as PW configuration.xml file. And also it contains policies.xml file. Policies.xml file. In CyberArk, we have different platforms. We call it as plugins. So all those policies we can see under this PWA config safe. Okay, remember, if someone asks you what does PWA config safe contains, means it contains policies.xml file and PWA configuration.xml file. Okay, this is the important safe. Remember PWA config safe. Now, next question. Rest are all these are related to PWA reports. Later we will discuss when we generate some reports in CyberArk. So now, next question is no, I'm just discussing. Tomorrow I will give you all the questions. What are the default users that got created after Vault installation? Any one of you? What are the default built-in users and groups that got created after Vault installation? Yesterday I showed you. What are the default users and groups that got created? Any one of you? What are the default users and groups that got created after Vault installation? Definitely master user, administrator user. What else? There are some groups also I showed you yesterday. Vault admins group,
Backup
DR
groups, DR
backup
groups.
groups. Yes, very good. Bikram. Backup user groups, DR user group, operator user group, auditors, auditor user, notification engine group, etc. So these are some of the default users and groups that got created. So where to look that? So after logging to Privatar client, go to tools, administrative tools, users and groups. Okay. So here these are the default users and groups: administrator user, auditor user, auditors group, batch user, master user, notification engines group, notification engine user. Okay. And similarly, backup users, DR users, operator, and vault admins group is the main group. Okay. So now if you observe today, it got there are some other groups and users that got created. That is PWA accounts feed group, PWA app user, PWA app users group, PWA gateway accounts, PWA gateway user, PWA monitor group, and PWA users. Okay, so these set of users and groups are related to PWA. So since we have installed PWA today, and these default users and groups got created in our vault server. Out of these two are very, very important. PWA app user and PWA gateway user. Okay, so PWA app user is responsible for internal processing of application. Means in order to launch this PWA application web interface in the back end, this user is responsible for launching the PWA web interface. That this user is responsible for internal processing. Whereas gateway user, GW means gateway, as the name itself indicates, gateway means this user is responsible for establishing sessions to the users. Okay, so whenever user will log into the PWA interface, and if they want to connect to their servers in the backend, this gateway user will fetch the credential of that particular user, and it will establish a connection to the user. Means it will allow the user to log into the PWA page. In the backend, this user is responsible. Very, very important. PWA app user and PWA gateway user. Okay. Right. So that's all for today. I'll stop it here for the day. And tomorrow I'll give you some questions related to this PWA installations, PWA things, and then we'll go with CPM installation. The next component that we need to do is CPM. The order of installation yesterday we discussed. First, always we need to install Vault, whether it is standalone or cluster Vault, whatever may be. Next, PWA, next CPM, and then PSM. Okay, this is the order of installation. So tomorrow we will perform a CPM installation. Okay, right. I'll stop it here and we'll meet again.
Few questions.
Yes,
We were
please.
talking about this software, right? CyberArk and installation and all. I don't want to rush, but at the same time, I want to be in the pace. So when can we get the package so that we can get started? I think from my side, my servers are up and running as of right now with the operating system and all the configuration that you have shown us. It's just to get installed. So let us know when is the right time. I don't want to push, but at the same time, let us know if, when are we going to get it. I think maybe this third or the fourth class, we have been just focusing on installation. And since we spent almost good 2 weeks on installation, I'm pretty sure this is also a very important part of the job. Some we have picked, some still we have to go back and review. I think I proposed my group to kind of get together and start studying separately, a couple of hours or whatever it makes sense and time matches. So I really want to kind of keep the pace in learning. So guide us, let us know about the software or anything else that we need to, kind of catch up, speed up, whichever way.
Did you guys already get the software packages which I already shared with Rakesh from Digi Applicants?
I don't think so. I don't remember if we got it. No.
Yeah, we
No,
don't get it.
even the videos were not able to access it.
We got
So
only videos. We don't have any softwares.
I have already shared the software package maybe last week itself. I have shared the package and I asked them to share with all of you guys. So anyway, I'll check with Rakesh from DG Applicants and I'll inform him again to share that with all of you guys with the software zip package I shared with him last week only. Okay, so once you got those packages, I want all of you to make sure your servers are ready and start installing. If you have time, maybe this weekend spend a couple of hours and make sure your installation is done. Whatever the components that we are going to complete by tomorrow, maybe we will install the CPM. So go ahead and install your vault server, PWA and CPM, and from next week onwards you can able to we will jump on to the operations part, how we can onboard and play around with different kinds of accounts, and how we can able to set policies. We'll look at out complete operation things from next week onwards, if I'm not wrong, maybe next week or in the mid of next week.
Yep, sounds good. Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, guys. Okay, thank you. We'll meet again tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.